Once again, it's time for another edition of This Was Television. Introduced by your special guest host this week, Alexei Sayle.
Remember this place? BBC Television Centre, where they turned out so many classic shows back in the 1980s. This is the actual studio where we made 1,500 episodes of my own series. Stuff. This is where I stood, performing, as one reviewer described it, like an aubergine on speed. Bringing tears of joy and laughter the world over. It all seems a far cry now from my seat in the House of Lords as Baron Sayle of Bloomsbury. What glorious, innovative situation comedies the BBC made in those days. Fawlty Towers. Oh no, it's Selwyn Froggatt. And what stars we had then. Giants of show business like Mike Morris, Don Estelle, and, of course, tragically, Ben Elton. Then this place was filled with something like 50,000 people turning out several programs a year. Let's go back to the year 1989. Powdered wigs were still on ration. And government control of the media was still so strict you could actually be censored simply for saying off. How about it now?
Yes, it's 50 years of that colorful cartoon character, Alexei Sayle.
Who's the leader of the gang that's great for you and me? A-L-E-X-E-I, S-A-Y-L-E. Who's an ugly bastard and that's great for you and me? A-L-E-X-E-I, S-A-Y-L-E. Alexei Sayle, Alexei Sayle. We love to hear him swear on the TV. Everybody gives you cheers except the BBC. Alexei Sayle, Alexei Sayle.
Who is that fat bastard?
And now, here are the answers to last week's IQ test. Insert a word that means the same as a word on either side of the brackets. And the answer was Cellosaurus, a rare four-stringed prehistoric reptile played between the legs with a bow. Question 2. Which of the following is not a European capital? Answer C. Rangoon is in Burma. Question 3. Insert the odd man out. And the answer was carburetor. All the rest are types of fish. And question 4. What comes next? And the answer was, of course, this. I spend a lot of time hanging round bus stations. No, I do. Because I write down all the numbers on the front of the buses, roll them up on a piece of paper and stuff them up my arse. Because we're all very anal, us bus spotters, all us collectors. But you meet a lot of really weird people hanging around bus stations, seemingly mild-mannered individuals who've had just one glass of cider, you know. Suddenly they're going, "Yeah, that bastard, yeah. You strangled my parrot, yeah, that bastard, yeah, strangled my..." And they're just the inspectors. The ones who always get me are called Norman. You can always spot a Norman because he's got a pack-a-mac on in the middle of July. Don't sell you a pack-a-mac unless you're a loony, you know. You go into, like, Next and you say, "Yeah, can I have a pack-a-mac, please?" You say, "Are you a loony?" You say, "No." "Well, you can't have one, then." You're sitting there, dead quiet, waiting for the bus, right? Suddenly you hear this voice and it goes, "Hello? Do you like sponge?" "I do, because I'm not allowed anything sharp." And you're going, "Shut off, shut off, shut off, shut off!" I've got 2 CSEs, you know. One in biology and one in metal work. If you want your dog welding, I'm your man. Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! I've got a mackerel in my pocket. It's portable and showerproof. It's a backer mackerel.
This is a disused warehouse in the docklands of London's East End, and I am a reporter who talks like this. Yet, who would imagine that behind this wall, even as I speak, the dark, insidious underbelly of the human soul is once again about to slake its thirst for cruel, sadistic sport. These men gather here once a week for a spectacle that would once have been unthinkable in a civilized country. A fight to the death by clockwork teeth.
Well, as usual, we seem to have imported this barbaric sport from America. The teeth are kept in quite inhuman conditions. If we look at this set here, for instance, you can see that it's developed an abscess in the root canal where they stick the key in to wind it up. And I'm afraid in a case like this, the only thing we can do is to set fire to Harrods.
And yet, it's here, in the very bosom of the English countryside, that the cruelest, most inhuman blood sport of all takes place. A blood sport which, under new government legislation, is not only permitted, but will shortly become compulsory. In just 30 seconds from now, this innocent teddy bear's picnic will be transformed into a sickening bloodbath. I was horrified by the brutally graphic scenes of teddy bear hunting in this week's edition of the Alexei Sayle show, broadcast well before the 10 o'clock watershed time when all teddy bears are deemed to be tucked up in their beds. I had just sat down to watch the show with my own 3 teddy bears, and I had great difficulty explaining to them that it was just a piece of harmless satire, in that they are just toys filled with sawdust, with no autonomic nervous system of any kind. Also, I would like to ask the BBC, is it possible to remove the rude word at the beginning of the following monologue?
Is it bollocks? Psychic phenomena. Telepathy. Do they really exist? Well, I'm actually slightly telepathic myself. So here's a quick joke for all my fellow telepaths out there. It's a good joke, isn't it, eh? A little bit saucy, you know what I mean? Basically, politically sound. Also, yeah, I can. Can anyone really see into the future? The big thing on television these days, though, is to be topical, isn't it? And I hate topical stuff. I mean, people think they can get away with any feeble old joke as long as it's been in the news that day. Oh, yeah, well, it wasn't funny, but at least it was topical. I just hate topical stuff. The other reason we don't do topical stuff on this show, though, is because these bits that you're seeing now are actually done on film. And they take an incredibly long time to get to the screen because of film processing, sound, dub, editing, so on and so forth. In fact, this bit that you're watching now was actually made several years ago. Still, the public do love topicals, so here goes. I see that dick Mr. Clement Attlee got elected then. And behold, a day of pestilence is almost upon us, when all shall be destroyed in a mighty deluge, and the fowls of the air and pelicans, save for myself, Noah, and my descendants. So go forth, wife, and call together my 3 sons, Shim, Him, Hom, Hum.
Sham? Wasn't one of them called? Sam?
Sham.
No, you're thinking of Sam the Sham and the Pharaohs. Sang Woolly Bully.
So who are the sons of Noah then?
I don't know, it's Genesis, isn't it?
I think so.
Genesis... Oh, here we are, yeah. And Noah begat 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth.
Japheth?
Yeah? Japheth, how goes the work of constructing a mighty ark of gopher wood? That shall be the salvation of we and all they that are descended of we.
It's all finished. I've got it here.
It's a bit, small, isn't it?
Well, it's 300 cubits by 50 cubits.
How long is a cubit?
It's about half a millimetre, isn't it?
Well, fair enough then. Take it away and start loading up the rhinoceroses and the wildebeest, will you? And if you need any help, ask Elijah.
How can he ask Elijah? He went up to heaven in a whirlwind.
I thought that was Elisha.
I thought Elisha was the one with the coat of many colours, the one who dreamt of 7 fat sheep and 7 thin sheep.
No, that was Jacob.
It was Joseph.
All right, Joseph then.
Who was it who had the wisdom of Solomon?
Oh, no, that was Joshua, wasn't it?
I thought Joshua was the one who was eaten by a giant fish.
No.
Was that Nebuchadnezzar?
No, look, we're getting off the point here a bit, aren't we? I mean, the point is that God has decreed that I should go...
God?
What?
Wasn't God the one who had all his hair chopped off and then was thrown into the fiery furnace?
No, that was Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Honestly, how can you all be so ignorant about the Bible?
Oh, hark at him. Didn't even know the names of his own sons.
Shut up! Oh God, please grant your salvation and tender mercy on this your humble servant Noah.
Noah, wasn't he the one who married Elsie Tanner?
The 70s. That's when it all started to happen for me, here in Stoke Newington. Very alternative part of the world, Stoke Newington. I actually worked here on an alternative listings magazine called What's On in Stoke Newington. It was a big piece of paper with bugger all written on it. In the 70s, it's when the middle classes started to recolonise these inner city areas like Stoke Newington. You can always spot the middle-class houses because they're always the ones that have been painted blue and they had them carriage lamps outside, you know. It's like putting up a big sign saying, please break in and steal my video recorder. I never understand them carriage lamps, you know. I mean, what's the idea behind carriage lamps? I mean, why put headlights on your house? I mean, it's not going anywhere, is it? But in the 70s, you got all them grants, government grants to make a mess of your house. And in one middle-class street in Stoke Newington, they all knocked their front and back rooms into one in the same week and the street fell down. Another way you could spot the middle-class houses was they always had them Suzuki Jeeps parked outside. Oh, yes, I think it's so important to have 4-wheel drive when you're going down to Sainsbury's. Have you noticed that with the top down, them Suzuki Jeeps, they all look like pedal cars? They're all pedalling away, you know. You have to pedal them because they're all powered on Evian water. Time of great political activity, the 70s. And I was in a political group called Cystitis Sufferers Against the Nazis. We had a march. Well, it was more of a mince, actually. Ooh, ow, ooh, bloody hell, ooh, Nazis, ooh, ow, ooh, down with the Nazis, ooh, bloody hell, ow. Oh. The left has an obsession with words and changing words. Like, where I live now has got one of them Labour left-wing councils, and they're always renaming things, usually after Nicaraguans or dead South Africans. I mean, that's going to worry the government in Pretoria, isn't it? Oh, my God, they've named a taxi rank in Camden after Winnie Mandela. We'd better dismantle apartheid immediately, then. But they think that if you change the name of something, then it's going to make it somehow better. They think that, like, if you took something like typhoid and you renamed it fabulous, fun, happy time, jolly feeling, then it'd be like loads of fun to have it. Of course, they say the only way to change society is democratically through the ballot box. Crap. I mean, can you think of anything more futile than going into a little booth once every 5 years to vote for some politician? Well, yeah.
Morning.
Good morning.
I've come to stick my head in a bucket of something nasty, please.
Right, have you got your registration card with you? Lovely. Okay. There we are then. Now, there are 4 buckets in this constituency. Creosote, sump oil, liquid manure and cold rice pudding. If you'd just like to go into the booth and stick your head in the bucket of your choice. It's just over there.
Thank you very much.
Excuse me, sir, may I ask which way you...
Yes, I went for creosote. I'm proud of it.
And have you always stuck your head in that?
I have. We've always been staunch creosote in our family. In fact, my grandfather served as a local alderman with his head in a bucket of coal tar for 36 years.
I think you politicians do a wonderful job.
Excuse me, sir, may I ask which bucket you just stuck
No,
in?
you may not.
We're just doing an
Look,
exit.
what disgusting substance I choose to stick my head in is between me and the bucket. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to go and buy some industrial solvents.
My son says he's not going to stick his head in a bucket of anything this year. He's going to shove it down the lavatory instead, as a protest.
Bloody anarchists.
You should be grateful that he don't live in Russia. Because they're right, they only have 2 buckets and they're both filled with hedgehog's urine.
Yeah, they were going to have a 3rd bucket this year with some glasnost in it.
What's glasnost?
Well, it's a kind of very runny cheese. Smells odd.
Thank God we live in a democracy. In order to be close to my people, the working class, I live on this giant council estate. It's very boring. It's so boring, our council estate. Its twin town is Père Lachaise Cemetery. You get all these exchange visitors, you know. But the big problem round our way is dogs. Round our way, they definitely believe that a dog is for Christmas, not for life. Oh, yeah, well, we had to buy Jason a dog so we could leave it on the motorway like all the other kids. Oh, it's lovely to see him playing with it just before it gets splattered by a lorry. And you go through the park, right, and there's all these enormous dogs like German Shepherds and Rottweilers and Dobermans and Rhodesian Ridgebacks. You start singing Free Nelson Mandela, you're dead, mate. You see all these little guys, right, all these little guys with little bristly moustaches, and they've got these enormous, great, big, yappy dogs, enormous dogs with loads of teeth. Well, you know what they say? Big dog, small dick. I expect when you sit at home trying to understand one of these shows, you think that we're all top-class professionals who perform everything absolutely perfectly first time around. But you wouldn't think that if you saw some of the mistakes and gaffes that we make that never reach your screens. For instance, take a look at this outtake from last week's show. All I had to do was deliver the line, "My grandfather was a follower of Trotsky."
Run VT.
86, take 2. Action. My grandparents were typical Russian peasants. My grandmother always carried with her a small Bakelite remnant of the true cross. But actually, my grandfather, strangely enough, was a follower of tonight. Tonight.
The line is follower of Trotsky.
Oh, follower of Trotsky. Oh, God, I'm sorry. I keep doing that. Oh. Of course, there are worse things than forgetting your lines. Take a look at this next scene. And a little tip, keep your eye on the animal in this one.
Scene 32, take 45.
I love animals, don't you? Take this hamster. Now, the reason that a hamster stuffs it...
For God's sake, clear all those bloody gorillas off the lighting gantry! I told you before!
End credits, take 257.
Alexei Sayle is now appearing in No Prophylactics Please I'm an Armenian at the Royal Opera House, Covent Garden.
These council flats behind me were built by a large, overbearing, paternalistic local council. And certainly, my philosophy is you can't fight City Hall, but you can crap on the steps and then run like mad. Politically, both my parents were in the Communist Party, and that's a very traumatic thing for a child. My dad fought during the Spanish Civil War. He was in charge of a regiment of surrealists who, for most of the war, kept their guns trained on a platoon of alarm clocks commanded by a lemon squeeze. Being old-fashioned commies, my parents had an uncritical love for all things Soviet, all things Russian. And on the wall in our house, we had a giant picture of Uncle Joe Stalin. That's what we called him, Uncle Joe. Scoring the winning goal for Liverpool in the 1949 Cup final. It's one of the best retouching jobs the KGB ever did. But is the Soviet Union the workers' paradise that my parents imagined? Or what? Ever plan to travel east, across the USSR, back or beast, see the Soviet state on People's Highway 88. You go down to Murmansk, cross the Gulf of Lugansk, Chelyabinsk city looks mighty pretty. Can you see Lugansk and Orenburg, Kazakhstan? Don't forget Tagorny, Ufa and Nagorny. Come on over to Russia, it's totally great. It's round the clock grooving, that's why it's called the one-party state. Russia's bags are fun and frolics because they're all alcoholics. You go up to Vagosk, turn right at Naransk, cause Chernobyl city's still radioactive. Can you see Oblonsk, Azizki and Yagula Dog? Don't forget Nergazny, Lipa and Bagozny, the lovely town of Volkov, the mudflats of Bagolkov. It's really, really easy to have fun in Tbilisi. Hey tourist looking for a thrill, feel your legs like jelly go. Our latest tourist attractions, the Gulag Archipelago. From the bloody revolution, the Soviet state emerged. But the early years of hope are cut down as the best are purged. Then, horror upon horror, 20 million are lost in the Second World War. And now, if the USSR is going to turn into a cheap, tatty version of the West, well, what was it all for?
And that's all we're going to show you of that for now, unless you ring in and agree to borrow another £20 million.
That's right, we said 20 million. Remember, we'll lend you as much money as you want to buy whatever you want, whenever you want. Crippling second mortgages, vast unsecured bridging loans. It matters not a toss to us.
There are currently 300,000 homeless families in Britain who've had their homes repossessed through defaulting on their mortgage payments. But we can make that 500,000 with your help.
You can condemn yourself to a lifetime of debt first thing tomorrow morning by simply popping into any of the major banks or high street building societies. Just leave your name, address and a pound of flesh as collateral and they'll do the rest.
And now we're going just down the road to Acton to say hello to some cavity wall insulation salesmen. Hello there.
Hello, Sir Derek.
I gather as a special stunt for us today, you and your colleagues have been wearing silly fancy dress costume.
No.
Oh, what have you been doing then?
Well, we've been persuading various chronically disabled pensioners and single-parent families on fixed incomes to sign everything that's put in front of them. And so far, we've notched up several credit schemes at punitive fixed-term interest rates totaling £563,000.
Sensational stuff. And now here's a rather moving report from a commercials director with a film school diploma in compassion and understanding. It's now 5 years since they closed down the steelworks here in Moordike, throwing thousands on the social scrap heap. The conditions today, the poverty, are tragic. Some of these 13-year-old school children may never know what it's like to direct their own documentary series for Channel 4. For some, the prospects of running their own advertising agency before their 16th birthday are remote. Resources at this soup kitchen are so pitiful that the priest in charge can't even afford proper tears in his jeans. Like many of his helpers, he has to make do with a pitifully unfashionable haircut. But you can help. Just £75 will buy a monogrammed cufflink for one of these homeless old bag people. Just £250 will buy this crippled old lady a pair of Nino Cerruti skiing goggles. And just £1,000 will buy a business lunch with Alexei Sayle, provided you're on a diet.
When you're in show business, you have to be right there, bright, wide awake, on the case. And people are always asking me how I do it. Well, like my hero, Mrs. Thatcher, I can get by on 3 or 4 hours sleep a night, and yet still I can manage to... I like a laugh.